Anna spent 40 minutes selecting the perfect golden hour filter for her new profile picture. Her smile was genuine, but the lighting was a lie. Her dating app persona was named Aura. Aura was effortlessly chic, always traveling, and had skin that defied the laws of visible pores. Anna, the woman behind Aura, was currently wearing sweatpants with a suspicious coffee stain and hadn't left her apartment in 2 days. She was a marketing analyst, not an adventure seeker. She lived in a world where connection was digital, curated, and exhausting. She believed no one would swipe right on the honest, slightly anxious version of herself. Across the city, Leo stared at his phone with a mixture of boredom and scientific frustration. He was a software engineer, mandated by his best friend to try the Connect dating app for 3 weeks. Leo approached dating apps like a broken algorithm: too many variables, too much noise, and zero predictable output of happiness. His own profile picture was 5 years old, taken during a hiking trip when he was 20 pounds lighter and had significantly less under-eye baggage. It was his peak photo. He scrolled through profiles, finding flawless faces and generic bios about loving pizza and traveling. Then he landed on Aura. Aura's picture was stunning, dazzling, sun-kissed woman leaning against a pristine Mediterranean wall. Her bio, however, was surprisingly witty, referencing niche sci-fi literature. A paradox, Leo muttered, his analytical mind intrigued. He reluctantly swiped right, already predicting the disappointment when the facade inevitably cracked. Instantly, the screen flashed. "It's a match!" Anna, disguised as Aura, had swiped right on Leo, impressed by his thoughtful, if slightly cynical, bio about optimizing human interaction. Anna immediately stressed. Now she had to talk to him. She spent 20 minutes drafting and deleting her opening line, fearing sounding too eager or too boring. Leo messaged first. "I see you're a fan of the three-body problem. Are you Team Luo Ji or Team Da Shi?" Anna had only read the synopsis, but she quickly Googled the characters. "Definitely Lu Ji," she typed, carefully choosing a complex-sounding explanation she found on a fan forum. The long game is the only rational strategy. The conversation was immediate and electric. They bypassed small talk and plunged into deep pseudo-intellectual debates about existence, technology, and ethics. The chemistry was undeniably there, but it existed only within the chat bubble, fueled by careful editing, research, and the collective confidence of their polished personas. Anna found herself waiting for his messages, smiling widely at the notifications. He was quick, thoughtful, and, in a strange way, exactly what she had been searching for. Leo was captivated by Aura's perceived depth. She challenged his views without being aggressive and seemed to genuinely appreciate his dry humor. They moved to voice notes. Anna took 3 takes for every recording, ensuring her tone was smooth and perfectly modulated, masking her slight stammer when she was nervous. Reese, meanwhile, accidentally sent a voice note while coughing and immediately regretted it. But Aura responded with a surprisingly sweet inquiry about his health. After 4 days, they scheduled a digital date, watching the same obscure foreign film on Netflix while texting commentary back and forth. "You know, this is the most fun I've had on a date that didn't involve me showering," Leo texted, genuinely surprised by his enjoyment. Anna blushed, responding with a simple same, but her heart fluttered. She was falling for the man on the other side of the screen, but the anxiety gnawed at her. She realized Leo was falling for Aura, the idealized version, not Anna, the flawed reality. The request for a real-time video call became an absolute nightmare. Anna immediately made an excuse about poor connection and low battery. Instead, she offered to send a new picture. This was her specialty. She disappeared into her bathroom, armed with her ring light and foundation. The resulting picture was a masterpiece of digital deception: soft focus, perfect symmetry, and eyes that sparkled with synthetic clarity. She looked 25 and flawless. Leo received the picture and felt a pang of inadequacy. Aura was simply too perfect. He looked down at his own current state, unshaven and stressed. He scrambled for a suitable return picture, couldn't send his current selfie. He found the old hiking photo, brightened it, and sent it back. Anna looked at the picture of Leo. He looked like a fitness model who also happened to read philosophy. She felt a sickening wave of relief, mixed with deeper guilt. They were both lying. After 2 weeks of intense digital intimacy, the inevitable question arrived. We need to meet. For real. Anna's stomach dropped. The fantasy had reached its expiration date. There was no way to bridge the chasm between Aura and Anna in person, but Leo was insistent. I need to see if your laugh sounds as good out loud as it does in my head, she agreed. Saturday, 2 p.m., at a busy downtown cafe. The anonymity of the crowds would offer a tiny measure of security. The next 3 days were a frantic blur for Anna. She bought a new dress that mirrored the effortless style of Aura's profile. She tried a new makeup technique to slim her jawline and enlarge her eyes, exactly like the filter did. It felt less like getting ready for a date and more like a theatrical performance. Leo, meanwhile, was at the gym, desperately trying to shrink 5 years of comfort and fast food into 3 days of cardio. It was futile. He practiced witty banter in the mirror, terrified he wouldn't live up to the intellectual giant he had created in the chat. Saturday arrived. Anna was early, staking out a corner table by the window. She was dressed impeccably, but the nervousness in her hands betrayed her composure. Wore a wide-brimmed hat, hoping to replicate the shade and mystery of her favorite filter. It felt ridiculous, but necessary. At 2:05 p.m., a man walked in. He was handsome, but slightly rugged, wearing a comfortable sweater. He looked nothing like the sculpted man in the profile picture, looking around with a hint of confusion. He didn't look at Anna. Anna felt a surge of adrenaline. This wasn't Leo. She was safe. She was about to text him that she was running late when another man entered. This man was wearing a slightly too tight blazer, breathing heavily, and his hair was damp with panic-induced sweat. He looked stressed, older than the photo, and distinctly ordinary. Anna's heart sank. This was the man who had her brain spinning with philosophy and literature. This was the man who was meant to be the perfect Leo. She kept her head down, hoping he wouldn't notice the woman hiding behind the oversized sunglasses and hat. The second man spotted her. He hesitated, squinting at the perfect stylized woman in the corner. Then he approached her table, his voice hesitant. Aura. Anna. Anna pulled off her sunglasses slowly. Leo? The air instantly froze. Leo's face registered a flicker of confusion, then disappointment, followed by crushing realization. Oh, he said simply, the single word carrying the weight of 2 weeks of digital expectations crashing down. Anna felt the heat rise up her neck. Her carefully applied makeup felt heavy and insufficient. I look different in person, I know. Different is an understatement, Leo said, his analytical side resurfacing to shield his hurt. Your photos are heavily curated. Anna bristled. Curated? Yours are prehistoric. That picture was taken when you were training for a triathlon, wasn't it? Leo flushed, running a hand through his hair. It was a better time. I thought I needed to maintain the illusion. The illusion? You mean the lie? We built this entire connection on a collective, deliberate lie, Anna exclaimed, her voice low but sharp with anger. The fantasy they had constructed crumbled into a million uncomfortable pieces across the small cafe table. It was the only way to get noticed, Anna whispered, her defense turning into a confession. If I put the real me out there, no one swipes right. No one. Leo looked away, then back at her, his expression softening. I know that feeling. I tried to sound smart enough, look good enough for you, Aura. But I'm not Aura, I'm Anna. I panic before meetings. I eat ice cream for dinner, and I trip over air when I walk, she said, finally letting the wall drop. I'm Leo, he admitted, pulling off his blazer, suddenly not caring about his tight shirt. I'm a data nerd. I haven't run 5 miles in 3 years, and I use my phone to hide from awkward social situations. Silence stretched between them. It wasn't the awkward silence of deception, but the heavy silence of truth. Anna suddenly started laughing, a genuine, slightly hysterical sound that didn't match the voice notes she'd carefully crafted. Leo joined in, a tired, honest chuckle that made the bags under his eyes seem less like flaws and more like proof of life. So, Anna said, wiping a tear of laughter from her eye, we are two tired, slightly disappointing people who know everything about each other's fake intellectual interests. Exactly, Leo agreed. And we are also the 2 people who connected on a level I haven't experienced in years, despite the visual misinformation. He paused. The person I spent 2 weeks talking to, she was incredible, and I suspect that person is closer to Anna than Aura. Anna felt a warmth spread through her chest that no ring light could replicate. The person who understood my obscure sci-fi joke is definitely Leo. So what now? Leo asked, pushing his chair back slightly. Do we shake hands, apologize for the visual deception, and go back to our filtered lives? Anna looked at the bustling cafe, then down at her hands. The thought of logging back into the app felt suddenly repellent. No, she decided, reaching across the table and taking his hand. We have a coffee and we talk. But this time, we talk as Anna and Leo, the people who showed up, not the profile pictures. Leo's face broke into a genuine, unfiltered smile. It was messy, a little tired, but absolutely charming. Deal, he said, holding her hand, which was now, thankfully, free of any makeup residue or nervousness. They ordered 2 large, complex coffees. Anna ordered a slice of cake, her honest ice cream for dinner, self-shining through. They started asking each other the real questions. What do you actually do for fun? What are you truly afraid of? Anna confessed her obsession with organizing stationery. Leo admitted he cried watching documentary films about space travel. These were the details that couldn't be Googled or filtered. They were messy human truths. I think the worst part was trying to maintain the level of perfection in the messages, Anna admitted, stirring her latte. It was exhausting. I was terrified you'd realize I'm just a guy who codes all day and struggles to assemble IKEA furniture, Leo confessed, leaning closer. But I'm a woman who can't parallel park and only posts pictures of her houseplants, she countered, sharing a laugh. They spent the entire afternoon in the cafe, the awkwardness of the first 5 minutes long forgotten, replaced by the easy comfort of genuine familiarity. Anna took off her hat and sunglasses, letting the cafe light fall on her face. She looked like Anna, beautiful, slightly tired and real. Leo, relaxed and unguarded, looked like the man whose mind she had fallen for, intelligent, kind, and deeply present. As the sun began to set, painting the cafe windows in warm orange hues, Leo pulled out his phone. Okay, Anna, one last digital act, he said, opening the Connect app. Anna watched as he navigated to his profile. He hit the delete account button without hesitation. Why? She asked, a small catch in her throat. Because I found what I was looking for. I don't need the algorithm anymore, he explained, looking directly at her. Anna smiled, pulling out her own phone. She deleted the aura persona, watching the perfectly crafted image disappear forever. They walked out of the cafe and onto the street. The cool evening air a sharp contrast to the warmth of their new connection. Leo offered his arm, not as a formality, but as a silent offer of support. So, Anna said, taking his arm, where does this perfectly unfiltered date take us next? Home, I think. To watch a bad sci-fi movie and order takeout, Leo suggested, but only if you promise to tell me which parts are scientifically inaccurate. It's a date, she confirmed, leaning her head briefly on his shoulder. The digital perfection was a myth, but the human connection they found despite the filters was real, rare, and entirely worth the risk. They walked into the sunset, 2 perfectly imperfect people starting a new, honest chapter. Thank you for watching Filtered for Love. Have you ever experienced a date that didn't quite match the profile picture? Tell us your story in the comments below. Comment, like, share, and subscribe to Storycraft Studio.